time, I would like to make a motion to read by title only. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
First ordinance is appropriation ordinance. Be enacted by the Quorum Court of Marion County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending the annual operating for 61 for Marion County, Arkansas, transfer unappropriated funds from 1,000 county general fund for the insurance reimbursement for repairs and placement of property destroyed in flood July 17th, 2024. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
May I get a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
Is the last one we paid out, was that for the May flood?
This is a reimbursement, this is insurance, this money going back to us.
We already had it happen. Is that for the May?
The tornado was last May on Memorial Weekend.
Yeah.
The flood that flooded the nursing home was actually in July.
July. Thank you for clarification.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to the next appropriation ordinance 2025, be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Marion County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending the annual operating budget and numbers and compensation ordinance 2024-61 for calendar year 2025 for Marion County, Arkansas, transfer unappropriated funds from 1,000 county general fund for the purchase of laptops and software. May I have a motion? May I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Appropriation ordinance 2025, be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Marion County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending the annual operating budget and numbers and compensation ordinance 2024-61 for calendar year 2025 for breathalyzer and toximeters for the Marion County Sheriff's Department. May I get a motion?
Motion.
May I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Does anyone need a few minutes to read the additional documentation that was provided by the School of Mid-Hope?
Yes, please.
Has everyone had time to review the documentation?
Yes.
May I have a motion?
Motion.
May I have a second? May I have a second?
One is this.
It is excuse me, I didn't read it. My bad. Being enacted by the Foreign Court of Marion County, Arkansas, and ordinance to be entitled, an amendment to the annual operating budget and numbers and compensation ordinance 2024-61 for the calendar year 2025 to appropriate $80,000 from Fund 1005 Corona Relief Fund to support the School of New Hope work activity operations. Now I'll back up, but I'll ask for a motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
Have you heard from any of the representatives, Judge?
Have gotten nothing back on what anybody else is doing. One state representative said he's not found anywhere else to have the same issues. I've got nothing in writing that shows that, but now I've got zero response on how they would be able to help in the situation. Which is somewhat disheartening, but that's where we stand.
Just have a fundraising.
Just fundraising?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's a better answer than what I got.
How much,
Along those lines, yes, like do it yourself and
Yeah.
thanks for trying out.
Yeah.
how much lead time prior to this email, dated April 17th, 2025, were y'all notified that there's a possibility that this would happen? That you could possibly lose your funding?
That was probably the first email that we got. I had turned in an appropriation for additional funding,
Mhm.
but they never did tell me that there was any chance that we would get it until that email.
And the 45,000 short-term expenses not covered by current billing, what is that going to consist of? What are those monies going to be?
Those things listed, that wouldn't, come out of our general operations, for everyday operations. The audit, which we haven't had one in a long time, and what the auditors have told me is that we're not required to because we don't receive more than $500,000 in Medicaid funding. So anyway, given that, our board, because of the cost of it, we've just decided not to do an audit. So what I'm bringing into is applying for other federal grants. They require an audit. And I think that if we could possibly get one, that would open up some additional funding for us.
But there's no guarantee, correct?
There is no guarantee.
And last month we had asked for it down to the penny, like everything itemized. Everything that was attached to that doesn't equal $80,000.
That is correct. All of those figures first of all, the ordinance was done hurriedly to get it in front of you. And those figures that I have on that ordinance are from previous estimates from the insurance was from what we spent last year. The new amount that I had sent you as an estimate was for this year. So everything, all of those estimates that you got were up to date and current. And the figures that I had put in there as my draft that was sent to you were based on numbers, past numbers. Whether it be the audit was in 2023, I believe, the amount for it.
You went from 4,000 to 6,000 on the audit, but then you've got supporting documentation that says it's going to be somewhere from 11 to 13. if we were to move this ordinance through onto the foreign court, how are you gonna make that shortfall?
Well, first of all, since the time that we last met, we have received like 8,500 in, donations. We were able to receive, $8,200, in funding from another source. The individual that the claim was paid through a different, Medicaid program. So there's some of that that's gonna be, available. And then the additional, I mean, we've spent money out, I think from November to, present, we spent like $22,000 out of our donation account. And that was money that we had put back for these other expenses. So, I think it would, balance out.
I don't have any other questions. Does anybody else have any questions? I'll go ahead and take it to a vote. All in favor?
This is good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Opposed?
Aye.
Yeah, no, I can't. There's not enough supporting documentation. I can't get it paid.
What else do they want?
We need more of a breakdown of where this, to be able to balance the 35,931 shortfall, and to be able to balance the 45, we need something in writing that's going to tell us, what we,
Where that money's
what we're funding. Because I can't go into a financial institution and get them money for $8,000 and not tell them what I'm going to use it.
Just real quick, did you guys already take the vote?
Yes.
Yeah, discussion's over. Yeah, take the vote. To the next. Right, yes.
All right, the second one, be enacted by the foreign court of Marion County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled. An ordinance establishing a voluntary contribution on every tax statement, real property and personal property in Marion County for the purpose of funding for School of New Hope. May I have a motion?
Motion.
May I get a second?
Second.
Discussion.
So how's this gonna work? There's just gonna be a line on the tax forms that people can just donate.
So other counties in the area, they do, like they have your property tax listed out, personal property, and then it says, here's your total involuntary tax. And then below that, there's a voluntary tax, and it might be $5, it might be $10. And then there's a total, so you have the option of paying the voluntary or the involuntary. So it's just on the statement as an option.
It says in here though, a minimum of $15, like, wouldn't $2 be better than no $? I mean.
Yeah, and I don't know who decides that. We've had a discussion on the board. Other counties do $2, other counties do $5, some do 15, some do 25. It just kind of depends. So I don't know who makes that final decision. I don't know if it's our suggestion or the board decides that. I'm not sure who makes the final decision, but
I'm just
there's
thinking
there's a-
$15 is a lot for some families.
Yeah, no,
That's the
absolutely.
difference in groceries and
Well,
tax.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Again, that's why it's not mandatory. It's not a mandatory tax. It's up to you whether you want to pay the extra amount, whatever it is.
Would that clearly be stated on a tax form? Because, I mean,
Yeah, so at the bank, we've got statements from like Carroll County and Baxter County, and on the bottom of each of our statements for bank property, it's clearly listed out that it's not a mandatory $5 or $10. It's just whatever. If you want, feel so inclined to give, then it's just makes it easy for the person to donate that money.
You have an example of that with you by chance?
I would bet even if it's not on the tax statement, that if somebody wanted to give them $1,000, they could send them a check for $1,000 and y'all pay it.
Sure,
Absolutely.
of course.
Yeah.
May I bring this?
Yeah, please.
Sam, it's a circle.
Thank you.
If it's listed though in the ordinance currently as a minimum of 15 and we pass it though, that's what stands, correct? So that minimum needs to be decided, and that'll have to be rewritten.
No, I actually agree with Leslie. Is there a way can we edit it to maybe even have a fill in the blank amount? Because I know people would be more prone to donate if they had an option. I mean, 50 cents is even better than nothing.
Yeah, even if it was to round up your taxes to an even number.
yeah,
Something's better than nothing, but I feel like
427, and you round it up to
I
431.
don't think Baxter's asking that much in their class 4, we're class 2. And we kind of have, I think that's. Okay, well, okay, Baxter's class 4, we're class 2. I think this seems a little steep, I know it's for a good cause, but I think that we should put it in a house.
Yeah.
Can you do like a step amount?
Give the
From
citizens
a
a little
regular
more
job hours
control.
for communication, not just know like 15, there's a lot of people in this area that $15
It's
is
a lot.
a lot of money to them. It might not be that much to you or I one, but
Right,
Yeah.
but that could be food for their children or a tank of gas, to go to work. Okay,
Yeah.
that's generous, but I mean.
Yes, I have a question though. I think it's a great idea, but the paperwork, I assume there's gonna be more paperwork involved for whether we need this or anything. And can the collector's office today have the manpower to do all the bookkeeping on it? I mean, it's, the fire department's already a struggle to keep that for delinquent taxes. And we're gonna throw something else at them. And it's just not this, but I mean, will they need to hire another person, for the overload or?
I think that's an excellent question, sir.
I haven't had any discussions about that.
Something that has to be. That was a good point.
Is there any other questions?
Well, do we need to get more information on this and table this until we can talk to the assessor's office? Collector's office, sorry. Thank you.
We wanted to have a meeting on that.
We've already gone off this year. We have time. We have time.
Yeah, we'll start paying
I would like to make a motion to table this until the next meeting to where we can get some more information. Visit with Carla, get our feet under
unders on that. I'm trying to remember, Judge. Robert Rules of Order, do I need a motion to table?
Yeah, you need a motion to table.
May I get a motion to table?
Motion.
May I get a second?
Second.
That adjourns all the business after this evening.
We got to vote on the motion.
Oh, yeah, sorry. All in favor? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Last week, well, I'm not called out of the meeting 15 times a day to have to take your rank. I come first. Yeah. It's, it's like it shows what it is.
Are we adjourned?
That was it. I'm sorry. I didn't know. It's hard.